Welcome to Comics Expertise. Today I'm bringing you the greatest defeats and embarrassments of Wolverine. I hope to do more of these videos in the future alongside my reviews and summaries. These just being a video series called At the Expense Of, with this week's character being Wolverine. So the first moment I want to talk about at the expense of Wolverine came in Marvel Treasury number 26. In it, Wolverine is flexed on by Cyclops and Hercules. How does this happen? I'll tell you. Wolverine is at a bar, miserable, thinking about how much Cyclops pisses him off and how he should be leader of the X-Men and have Jean Grey all to himself. So apparently he's never heard that you're supposed to hate the game and not the player. Meanwhile, there's a pretty redhead who thinks hairy midgets are cool, so she goes to talk to him. And how does he repay her charity? By being rude to her and then trying to get her back when her response to his attitude is, there are other guys in here. So all of a sudden, walks in one of the biggest ladies' men in comics, the Lion of Olympus himself.
The mighty Hercules.
And what you would expect to happen, happens immediately. Every woman in the bar, including the redheads who tried to flirt with Wolverine, flocks to Hercules. So Hercules swaggers over to the bar and asks that Wolverine politely move to the end of the bar to make space for him and his harem. And does Wolverine politely move? No, of course not. So Hercules picks up Wolverine by his neck as if he's a cub and tosses him aside like garbage. But is Wolverine done getting flexed on? Of course not. He says, I don't take that kind of bull from anyone. Not from a turkey named Summers, and certainly not from you. Establishing that Wolverine thinks about Cyclops entirely too much. So after throwing an uppercut at Hercules that catches nothing but air, and a jab to the chest that does nothing to Hercules, Hercules is like, listen man, you're annoying me, and then proceeds to backhand Wolverine to the ground. As if this wasn't enough, he adds insult to injury when he tells Wolverine, if only your height matched your tenacity, this would be an epic fight. They stop fighting soon after this as the bar is wrecked and the women have left. But that's how Hercules and Cyclops flex on Wolverine, and Cyclops wasn't even in this comic. Another moment at Wolverine's expense comes in X-Men number 108 when the X-Men, led by Cyclops, need to get to the M-Cron crystal. Only problem is the crystal, which is the nexus of all realities, and therefore extremely important to the existence of the Marvel Universe, if not multiverse, is guarded by a little purple dude, even shorter than Wolverine, named Jaff. Wolverine, no doubt happy to have found someone shorter than himself, tries to confront Jaff, who won't let them pass. So Cyclops, knowing they're in a universe full of superpowered beings at a place that's extremely important, tells Wolverine, be careful because they don't know what they're up against with Jaff, which to me seems like anyone with two brain cells to rub together would have figured that out. But Cyclops knows that Wolverine isn't that blessed, so I get why he stated the obvious. Wolverine gives Cyclops lip as he turns away from Jaff and says, you be careful, that's your bag, ain't it? So a lesson in listening to Cyclops is swiftly delivered and comes in the form of Jaff's tiny fist as he punches Wolverine so hard he reaches escape velocity and flies into orbit. Orbit. Personally, I think this is the day Wolverine learned that it's a good idea to listen to Cyclops, but what do I know? Wolverine's next embarrassment comes in Wolverine issue number 108, his own comic, which has an awesome cover that foreshadows just who will be responsible for Wolverine's embarrassment this time. So, setup. Wolverine's mind is infested with demons as he's been sent to hell. Emma Frost, Jubilee, Rogue, Kitty Pryde, and Melita Garter, who was Wolverine's girlfriend at the time, go into Wolverine's mind to fight the demons and help Wolverine gain control of his body. since there in Wolverine's mind there are doors marked with things like Secrets of Weapon X, X-Men I have sex with, How I Cheated Cards, and two of the most relevant ones for this discussion, Sexual Fantasies and Hopes and Dreams. Emma Frost looks behind the Sexual Fantasies door to see Spiral, Mystique, Jessica Jones, Squirrel Girl, and herself all in bondage gear in a dungeon. So Wolverine has sexual fantasies about Emma Frost, Cyclops' woman. But hey, at least Jean Grey's not here, right? Because that'd be embarrassing. I mean, really embarrassing. Well, Melita Garner, who I'll say again is Wolverine's girlfriend, comes across the door marked Hopes and Dreams. She looks inside to see Jean Grey saying, "I love you, Logan. I always knew we'd be together." So Cyclops embarrasses Wolverine here because the only way Wolverine could ever take the true love of Jean Grey away from Cyclops is in his hopes and dreams. Yet another moment in comics that was at Wolverine's expense comes in Uncanny X-Men issue number 128. In this and the previous issue, the X-Men had fought Proteus and were defeated by him. Wolverine takes the defeat the hardest to the point where he can't stop shaking. Cyclops, seeing this, thinks to himself, whatever happened to Wolverine has shaken him up badly. If he doesn't snap out of it, he'll be permanently gun-shy. Cyclops throws a drink in Wolverine's face and accuses him of being a coward, telling him to fight. Wolverine charges Cyclops, only for Cyclops to put him on his back, saying as he does, "You're the man who's gonna replace me as the X-Men's leader, Wolverine? Don't make me laugh." Wolverine takes a swing at Cyclops and hits nothing but air. Not once, but twice. Then Cyclops ricochets an optic blast off of Colossus to hit Wolverine in the back, and uses that momentum to toss Wolverine on his back for the second time, even as he calls Wolverine pathetic, saying a Cub Scout could beat him. Storm breaks up the fight as Cyclops explains that he instigated the fight in order to make sure the will to fight wasn't lost. Wolverine tells Cyclops he was wrong about Cyclops as a leader and as a man. I mean, damn. Cyclops literally beat some respect into Wolverine. Now that is embarrassing. The first embarrassment I talked about at Wolverine's expense was partially by Cyclops in a book Cyclops wasn't even in. This last embarrassment at Wolverine's expense comes in a comic Wolverine doesn't appear in. Now, if you're asking yourself, how is there a moment of embarrassment at Wolverine's expense if he doesn't appear in this comic? Let me show you the cover so you can see just what happens in this landmark issue. That's right, as far as I'm concerned, Wolverine's greatest defeat and most embarrassing moment came when Cyclops walked down the aisle with Jean Grey. All the moments he's given Cyclops a tough time, as much as he's questioned his leadership, as doggedly as he's pursued Jean Grey, all the longing, the heartache, and Cyclops takes the biggest win anyone can have over Wolverine. He got Jean Grey. That being said, if you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, offer feedback in the comment section. I'd appreciate it. Thank you for coming here and availing yourself of my comics expertise.